Welcome to another Owner Finance Your Way to Freedom, one note at a time. I'm super excited that you guys are here. A bit of introduction. My name is Dan Diaz. I was born in Mexico City and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I began my real estate investing career in November of 2015. At the time, I knew nothing about real estate, but I considered myself a problem solver and a solution seeker. Sammy Prieto, good to see you, my friend. First deal generated me $80,000 in upfront profit and a $400 monthly spread, guys. I was absolutely hooked. Now I mostly raise private capital to fund owner finance transactions. I teach seller financing as an acquisitions tool. And yes, we still try to buy as much land, single-family homes, small commercial assets that we can get our grubby little hands on. It's an absolute honor to be here today with you guys. If you can do me a favor, I want to get to know who is logging in, who is on the feed. So if you don't mind, as a quick reminder, give StreamYard permission to share your information. And then that way, when you comment, I'll know exactly who you are. That'd be great. I'd love to hear what city you're from and what's your market. I consider myself an owner finance fanatic. On a personal note, I love a good dry red wine, a stiff scotch, a cold beer, good company, international travel. My beautiful wife and I, we've been married for 3 years, no kids, and we got a red heeler for a pet. I hate that dog, but it's pretty cool. Why was this group created? I believe as the financial markets change, our survival will depend on our ability to swim these tumultuous and uncertain seas. Moving forward, I believe that acquiring properties with seller financing will be paramount to growing our portfolio and yours as well. Good to see you, Bhaskar, our VP of Group Growth. Hello, everyone. What can you expect to get out of it? I've made a personal commitment to use this platform to share our experience, our tools, and our skills to help you sharpen your creative financial acquisition teeth, to help you devour every opportunity in your market. What do I expect from you? I expect you to be sharks. Now, to me, sharks is not just a buzzword for like a lot of other people. I've actually broken it down, and each letter represents the characteristic of an individual that I believe will be someone who will succeed. A shark to me is someone who succeeds mercilessly, S, hates mediocrity, H, accepts no excuses, A, resolves to be action takers, R, kills their bad habits, K, and shares what they learned here, S. This is the mentality of the sharks that I am brewing, and I'm happy that you guys are here on board. A little bit about the group. It started April 25th, 2020. We currently have 3,587 members, up from 3,051 members just last week. And guys, that was because of you. You guys find value in this group. You guys find value in me being here on a regular basis, answering your questions live. Please let people around you know that we are here. Tag the group, Owner Finance Your Way to Freedom. Tag myself, tag Bhaskar, and let them know that we exist. We want to grow this group to over 10,000 members, and guys, we can't do it without you. I do want to take a moment to congratulate the latest winners of our Bring Your Friends contest. These are people who have really gone above and beyond to be absolute sharks, and I definitely want to give them an honorable mention. We have our grand prize winner, Ariane Villanueva. We also have honorable mentions, among them Clayton, Victor, Liana, Jared, Sandra, Rosa Elena, David, Chris, Colton, Chante, Sammy Prieto Jr., Octavio, and Jordan Sutton. We're super thankful for you guys, and I'm happy that you guys are here. So let's go ahead and start off with the questions for this week. Man, you guys had awesome questions, and I like them. So we'll start off with Joven Eugenio. I don't know who you guys are. Woohoo! And yo, let's go. It just says Facebook user, so I think you need to give permission to StreamYard so that I can see who you guys are. But hoo-hoo for sure. Joven Eugenio has a question. Owner finance note has a balloon payment on it. What if buyer does not perform at balloon end? What are the remedies or penalties? Man, good question. So what I understand, Hovind, is you originated an owner finance note and it has a balloon on it. Or maybe you bought and it has a balloon on it. What happens at the end of the balloon if the buyer does not perform? It's a breach of contract. It's that simple. So if you are the investor and you owner finance with a balloon and they're not performing, if you did your deed of trust correctly and if you did your promissory note correctly, that means that you have every right to foreclose. However, if this was my situation, I would consider this an absolute opportunity to renegotiate. Hey, Jamara Mills, good to have you on board. I would consider this an excellent opportunity to renegotiate and say, hey, listen, Mr. Buyer, I do want to remind you that your balloon payment was due. That means you needed to have secured a different loan or a different mortgage. Now, I'm not a mean person. I'm not a bad person. I'd like to share with you your current record of punctual on-time payments. And because of this, I don't want to see you lose the house. I have every right to foreclose, but I don't want to see you lose the house. So what can we do to renegotiate the situation? You can do a loan modification. You can choose to increase the interest rate. You can increase the term. You can do a brand new loan. You can do really whatever the two of y'all agree to. Be fair. I think that's important. But definitely, you're doing something for them, so they have to do something for you. They have to do something for you. So, Hale, what's up? Good to see you. Chavel, nice houses. Good to have you. So if that answers your question, you can technically foreclose. I wouldn't. I mean, assuming the note is current and assuming, there's no defaults and assuming you like the person, so just kind of keep that in mind. Andres Cárdenas Treviño. Were you born in Mexico? Because only Mexicans have that many names. I bet y'all don't know all of my names. Dan Israel Díaz Barriga Lara Salgado González Cantú. Yeah, I got a lot of names too. I was born in Mexico. Question is, I put a double wide and land together. Congrats, I love me, those mobile home investors. I went ahead and invested $70,000 into the transaction. I'm selling it for $150,000, $15,000 down, 10%, good job. 9% interest. I got a potential buyer that has $50,000 down, but wants the best possible deal. I offered $50,000 down and $60,000 financed at 4% interest. Would anyone buy that note? So to recap, got a potential owner finance buyer. He wants the best possible deal. So you went from $150,000 purchase price down to $110,000 purchase price, $50,000 down payment, and $60,000 at 4% interest. The answer to your question is, would anyone buy that note? Heck yes. However, most note buyers are going to want about a 12% yield on a mobile home. So in order for them to accomplish that, you're probably going to have to accept about a $20,000 purchase price. So it's not a matter of would anybody buy that note, it's a matter of would you be willing to sell it at what the average note buyer investor would buy it. My guess is probably not. If you're getting a $50,000 down payment, you're only in at $20,000 more. Basically, I would keep the note and use it as cash flow. 4% sucks, bro. There's no other way around it. I would try to figure out a different way to structure this so that you're not stuck with 4%. 4% is just real bad. It really is. But anyways, that's my thought on it. I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I would do. Ingo's got a question. We're in the process of selling a piece of land on terms. Can someone share a tool that easily lets me calculate payments and amortization schedule and share it with the buyer? Yes, there is a There is, so there's the B10 calculator. I think that's overly complicated. I think it's got way too much information. Personally, I like to use the EMI calculator. EMI calculator, what I really like about it is that it allows you to play with the loan amount, the interest rate, the terms, and the payment. And you can kind of play with all four of them to balance things out, and you can do it in front of the buyer. The EMI calculator looks like this on an iPhone. I don't know if y'all are able to see it. EMI calculator. Right next to my regular calculator and my Bank of America and my TCB and QuickBooks and Airbnb app and all that good stuff. So that's what I would do. Justin Roberts has a question. How do you market your properties as an owner financing but avoid putting it on the MLS? Man, that is a really good question. And I know a lot of you guys are struggling with this. So take down some notes. I'm about to let you know exactly what we do to go ahead and market to owner finance buyers step by step. First step, go to livecom.com. That's LIVECOMM, livecom.com. Open up an account. And what livecom.com allows you to do is it allows you to set up telephone numbers, just like Pat Live or a whole bunch of other ones. But what's really nice about them is that you can set them up so you don't answer them, and they're only 24/7 recordings, which I'm going to show you how to do that. And then you can also, once they call, it automatically gets generated into a database, and you can mass text them, which becomes advantageous later on. So get a livecom.com number, one for each listing, that you have. Once you sell it, you can reuse the numbers, but initially one for each listing. And set it up so that no one answers, just a recording of everything that you want describing the home. So for example, the recording can say 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, this is the address, 1,800 square foot, built 35 years ago, fully remodeled, great home, great neighborhood, great community, whatever you want to say, everything that you want to put. Roof was replaced 10 years ago, no issues with basement, electrical, plumbing, whatever, yada, yada, yada was, rehabbed. Or if not, it'll be like my listing that says, this is a piece of crap, needs a ton of work, it's a fixer-upper, but hey, don't worry, we went ahead and mowed the grass, trimmed the trees, take the dead cats out, bombed it with Fabuloso, and we're selling it at a discount. So whatever you want to describe in there, make sure you put everything in at the very end. Go ahead and put your down payment requirements and say, if this sounds like the home that would work for you, this home is available with owner finance terms, provided you bring a minimum of $30,000 to the table, or 20 or 15 or whatever. If you have this amount in liquid and available cash, the second step in the process is to go check out the home. Make sure the neighborhood works for you. And if you like the neighborhood and the home, there's going to be a number on the door that I want you to call for a personal tour. Now, if you notice, what you're doing here is you're not wasting anyone's time. You're gathering their phone number. You can text them later. You can call them later if you want. But you can mass text them later. And you're giving them a task. It is my belief, and this is just what works for me, for us, is they need to do something for you if they want to earn you financing the property to them. And it can be something simple. In my case, is go drive to the property. You want a tour? You go drive to the property. You want to talk to somebody live? You go drive to the property. And what's really nice about this is we've gathered data about this, and on average, for every 100 people that call the LiveCom number, less than 5 go to the property, on average, 5%. But what's really nice about that 5% is that they already took the time to go drive to the property. They already, if they call the number, they like the neighborhood and they like the home, and they claim to have the down payment. So all of a sudden, these become very, very well qualified leads that you can close them much easier. Sammy's got a question. Have you had success in posting a house in Facebook local buy and sell groups? Yes, we have. That was my third recommendation, Sammy. So first one, get your livecom.com number, set the loop, set the recording, set up that marketing sequence. That livecom number, and that's going to be the number that you're going to be putting on bandit signs, on Facebook marketing, on every piece of marketing that's got to do with that house. It's going to be a livecom number. It's going to be recorded, and it's going to tell them to go to the house. When they're at the house, and you have that sheet of paper at the door or the window or whatever, that's number is going to be live. That number is going to go to you or to your agent or to your disposition agent or to whoever. But that one will be live to schedule a personal tour. Second thing that I want you to do to find owner finance buyers, bandit signs. Put 10 to 20 around the neighborhood. Very simple. 3, 2, 1,350 square foot, owner financing available. Call 24/7 for recorded information. And yes, you get it. That phone number is the livecom number. Step number 3, Facebook Marketplace. Now, Facebook Marketplace is different than Facebook groups. Facebook Marketplace and Facebook's algorithm is an area where you can sell crap or houses, whatever. So go to Facebook Marketplace. Again, put the information that they need and the livecom number. Facebook groups. There's going to be a lot of severely unqualified individuals under Facebook groups. But that's the reason you use livecom number. Nobody's answering it. Like literally you can check it at the end of the day and there was another 30, 40, 50, 100 people that called your livecom number from all your different sources, and maybe you only got 2 phone calls to your live number. So that one you want to blast it all over the internet. Craigslist is a great source as well. Again, put the livecom number. OfferUp, 5 Mile app. And finally, this one's a little bit dirty, but collect real estate agent phone numbers off of Facebook groups. I've got a VA that her job is to simply go every day to all of the posts on Facebook groups and just data mine telephone numbers, email addresses, contact information. And you can go ahead and message them, or your VA can message them and say, hey, noticed you're an agent. FYI, I know it's hard to find inventory with seller financing. This is a listing that I have, and or this is a home that I have. It's off market. Let me know if you have an interested party. So those are the things. But if you noticed, it's not about selling one house. These 7 things that I shared with you guys, it's not about selling one house. It's about gathering massive amounts of data. Massive amounts of data. I think we probably have, through our marketing efforts over the last 2 years with LiveCom, we've got well over 15,000 people who have called our LiveCom numbers. Most of them trash. Most of them severely unqualified. But 15,000 numbers. I mean, think about it. What do we do when we get a new house? We go ahead and blast all of them. And we say, hey, new home available. Call this number, LiveCom number. Call this number for information, and it's a new livecom number. And then it's just the loop again. 3 bedrooms, 2-bath home, 1,350 square feet. Selling for $225,000, fully rehabbed. Nice neighborhood. This is the address. If you're interested in this home, you're going to need $30,000 cash to close. If you have it, the second step in the process is to go check out the neighborhood. If you like the neighborhood and you like the house, you're going to find a phone number on the door of the house where you can schedule a personal tour. It doesn't change, guys. It really, really absolutely doesn't change. And it's about gathering all of those leads without requiring a time, from your part. Bhaskars, got a question. What does your typical owner finance buyer look like? Are they mostly I-10 buyers or buyers with bad credit but money to put down? Great question. This is just our portfolio. 85% of our buyers are self-employed folks that the reason they need owner financing is because they don't have the 2 years of tax returns, or they lie to Uncle Sam and they underreport. So 85% of our buyers are self-employed folks. 65% of our buyers are I-10 folks. They don't have a social security number yet in this country, and they need a long-term product. Keep in mind that we tend to owner finance a little bit more affluent folks. Remember, we don't do a whole lot of owner financing where we buy the house and then owner finance it. We do that still. But the majority of our owner finance clients, we start with the client first, and then we go ahead and find out what their real purchasing ability is. Once we determine the real purchasing ability, then we go ahead and provide the funds so that they can purchase any home off the MLS. We're averaging about $320,000 per deal, per home. We'll owner finance anything from $150 up to $1.2 million. So our owner financing is a little bit different. If you're staying in the $200,000 and less ARV market, 90% are going to be I-10 folks. We don't discriminate bad credit folks. However, my experience is we do require 20% total cash to close commitment. So my experience is that people who have bad credit, it's usually the result of bad financial habits. And if you have bad financial habits, you probably didn't have the discipline to save up for the down payment. So you kind of wash yourself off, not because of the bad credit, but because of the lack of cash to close. So I would say less than 5% of our clients are just because of bad credit. It's going to be a small minority. Bhaskar, do you advise looking for deals outside of the city? Is there a demand for owner finance buyers in smaller towns? Absolutely. I call these the Corey towns. Small towns are great because regular banks don't even want to finance regular people. So absolutely. Not my niche, because ultimately I like to be in large cities. Our funding works primarily in San Antonio, Austin, DFW, and Houston metro areas. Nice homes, nice neighborhoods, pretty homes. But absolutely, I would highly recommend. The other advantage of targeting small towns, less competition from investors. The sellers are getting less hammered, less cash offers, less competition, more open to seller financing in the first place because there's a lot of free and clear properties. So absolutely, highly recommend looking outside the city. Something that we do buy on a regular basis is land outside the city. We buy it on terms, we buy it on seller financing, and we either wrap it owner financing or we lease it to people who need land to put their mobile homes in. Totally different story though. Good question, Mr. Bhaskar. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Who do we got next? Hope that answers your question, Justin, on how to market your properties to owner finance buyers. Philip, I have a property with a reverse mortgage on it that the seller is open to us taking sub 2. I have heard that reverse mortgage and LOCs are the worst to take over sub 2 because they are most likely to call the loan. I don't know if they're the most likely to call the loan. I don't know that. Maybe yes, maybe no. What's everyone's opinion? What's everyone's experience? So be very careful. Reverse mortgages is not a long-term sub 2 situation because if you know anything about reverse mortgages, they're getting payments every month and the equity is getting shrunken. So eventually you got to come up with a lump sum of money. Now, if it's going to be a flip where it's just going to be a short term and you are actually going to flip it, I think it's totally fine. I think no harm, no foul. But again, make sure that you're buying at flip numbers, 70% of ARV minus repairs, or if you're Dan, half off. I only buy half off. So to answer your question, Philip, you don't have to totally steer clear of them, but just be aware and realize they're a short-term product only. Fahim, do you put your sub 2 in a land trust? No, put them in an LLC. This is a matter of opinion. That's all it is. Lenders are not stupid. A land trust is so easy to be pierced if they want to. If they want to. On the other hand, a land trust is something that nobody understands. Your sellers are not going to understand. Your buyers are not going to understand. you might not even be able to understand very well. I don't fully understand them. I mean, I do know them, I understand them, but your insurance providers don't understand them. If they ever want to refinance, the mortgage companies don't understand them. So no, I don't put them on land trusts. I know how to defend my position if my loan gets called due, and I have had to defend my position. But I think people who put them in land trusts, they either have to understand them very, very well, or they may be over trusting, overconfident about what a land trust does. Chavel, reverse mortgage, never done one, but thanks for the question. I think we've done one or two, and they were short-term flips. That's all they were. All right, who do we got next? We got Mr. Gary Cooper. If I'm making an offer on a sub-2 and seller financing the difference between the sales price and the mortgage, how do you recommend filling out Section 3 of the TREC 1 to 4? For those out-of-state investors here, the TREC 1 to 4, that's the state promulgated purchase agreement. That's what I recommend you guys use. That's what we use. So that's what he means. So how do you recommend filling out Section 3? And by the way, Section 3 has to do with the price and the financing. And the seller financing addendum, considering that we don't know what the mortgage payoffs will be, and therefore we don't know what the actual seller finance amount will be, since this is an initial meeting and title hasn't been opened up yet. How do you recommend filling out the Section 3 of the TREC 1 to 4 and the seller finance addendum so that we can get the deal under contract? Are there any clauses that need to be put in special provisions? So this is not legal advice. This is just what we've done in the past. It's a legitimate question. You don't know exactly what the payoff is, but you should have an approximation. So in special provisions, we usually put language that kind of says seller agrees to finance the difference between mortgage payoff of, and then you insert the lender name, maybe Wells Fargo, of approximately, and insert a number, $139,000, and the negotiated price of X. See seller financing addendum. So your contract, your TREC 1 to 4, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be set in stone if you put the language approximate, close to, calculated at or about, and just go ahead and use Section 11 to plug it in there. Hope that helps, Mr. Gary. Agustin Gomez. Do you know if there is any money to be made wholesaling notes locked in at 5%? The answer, as always, is it depends. It depends on what the purchase price is going to be. I don't know. So notwithstanding the quality of the paper and other factors, the initial discount will require the price to achieve about a 12% yield. Most note investors are looking for a 12% yield, Agustin. So when you do the math, this is going to cut the unpaid principal balance and therefore the amount that they'll pay to less than half. So I don't know if the buyer's going to be okay with that, but that's where they're going to need to be, assuming all other factors are pristine. We're just talking about the yield. A 5% note sucks. That's like a Wells Fargo note. You don't need to be digging around Wells Fargo notes. So to kind of give you an example, let's say that you need to bring up the yield to 12%, and let's say the loan is about $250,000 at 5% to 30 years. This is going to have a PI payment of about $1,342. Obviously, the PI payment cannot change. So if the payment and the term do not change, they remain the same, but you change the interest rate to 12%, you're going to get a balance of about $130,000. Now, this is not exact. An interest rate is not the yield. I get that, but this is kind of a down and dirty math to see if both of you guys are kind of on the same page. So if the owner finance seller has a balance of $250,000, in order for the investor, the note buyer, to get a 12% yield, it looks like they would have to accept a price of about $130,000. Will he accept a price of $130,000? Probably not. But, that's kind of where it needs to be. The 5% sucks. It's like Who else had a question? Andres, I think, on his 4% mobile home and land note. I mean, you're going to have to take a huge haircut on that. And then you're trying to wholesale it, so you're trying to add your wholesale fee. So I don't know if that'll work. Dan the man, I don't know who you are, but thanks for the compliments. Gotta let StreamYard know who you are. Phillips got another question. Love your questions, guys. Love them, love them. Does everyone start with a 15-year option for seller financing offer off the bat? Or do we start with a 30-year and then see the responses? I noticed that most of Dan's examples in the course start with 15 years. What's everyone's thought on this? So I know most of my listeners, they've taken the 10-hour owner finance training. Thank you. Love your support. Obviously not becoming a millionaire off that. And just to give you the heads up, for those who have not taken it, the price will be going up. Right now it's less than $300, $297 to be exact. It's 10 hours. And what Philip is talking about is seller finance offers. Does everyone start at, so full disclosure, Philip, I don't know how other people negotiate seller financing. I shared with you and with the group how I negotiate seller financing. So yes, I normally start with a 15-year amortization, 0 down, 0% interest, equal monthly payments, because this allows me, and by the way, I sell on 30 years, 9% interest, 20% cash to close situation. Excuse me. But I started at 15 years because many times the question is, am I getting a down payment or am I getting any interest? And my answer is, well, it sounds to me like you want to be the bank. I have no problem if you want to be the bank, provided, you treat me like a bank customer. Right now, banks are giving loans anywhere between 0% down and 3.5% down. So if your down payment thought is somewhere around there, we might be able to, work something out. In addition to that, right now, banks are offering interest rate between 2 to 4%, sometimes less. So if you're thinking of a 2 to 4% interest rate, no problem. However, banks also give me 30 years to repay. So if you want the bells and whistles of being a bank, I have no problem giving them to you, but we got to be fair. You have to give me the bells and whistles of being a bank customer, and the bells and whistles of being a bank customer is, in fact, 30 years to repay, which is going to reduce the monthly payments that I'm going to be giving you. So if you're okay giving me 30 years, then I'll be okay with the down payment and interest that banks are requiring. On the other hand, I wasn't talking about you being the bank. I was simply talking about you getting a full price offer on your home, no discount, provided you give me 15 years to pay. Now, what's also nice is that they might come back and say, well, I don't know about 15 years. Maybe I'll do 10, maybe I'll do 5, maybe I'll do less, but I don't know about 15 years. This gives you now an opportunity to say, okay, well, the reason I was giving you a full price, full fair market offer price is because you were going to give me 15 years, or I was expecting you to give me 15 years. If you don't give me 15 years, no problem. We can do it in less amount of years. However, I'm going to need a little bit of a discount now. Now, I know most of here in the audience is not part of the winner's circle. We went in detail over this breakdown. I think we spent like 30 minutes on how to negotiate a 15-year term. It's also in the 10-hour owner finance training. If you guys are interested in investing $300, which, let's be honest, that should be a bar tab for most of y'all on a Friday night anyways, hit me up on the DMs. But yes, Philip, I started 15 years because it allows me to kind of go back and forth. If they come back with what's my interest, well, you got to give me 30 years. If they come back with, I don't want to wait 15 years, we'll do less, but then I need some equity. So hope that answers your question, Mr. Philip. Facebook user. Everything has changed since COVID, and people will be an hour or two outside the larger cities and can work from home. Good phone service and internet Wi-Fi is important. Yeah. If anyone is selling in rural areas, we just found out that Bix, B-I-X, Bix Wireless is like super phenomenal for Wi-Fi. Don't ask me how I know. Random little tidbit. Sammy, this is well explained in the course. Yes, it is. Appreciate the plug. I love Sammy's growth, man. I mean, he's just Doing super, super good. Let's be honest, just skip the bar tab this week and buy it before it goes up. It's up to you guys, man. I don't care. I mean, I don't make my money off of it. The price will go up soon. One last question. So, Philip, I hope that kind of answers your question. Yes, I do start with a 15-year amortization that allows me to kind of go back and forth. Couple things that I want to share with the group before we log off. One, thank you so much for your questions. I would have nothing to share with you guys if you guys don't post questions. So please post your questions in the group. I use my VA to kind of go ahead and pull out, the questions and kind of do an outline for you guys, researching the answers that kind of best works for you guys. Second thing, big thank you to all the winners of the Bring Your Friends contest. I'm super, super thankful for you guys. For those of you who are tuning in and were winners of the contest, day 3 of the mastermind is this coming Saturday at 3 p.m. We're probably going to do Zoom, but stay tuned to the group messenger for login information again. For anyone who wants the Owner Finance 10-hour course, just hit me up on the DMs. And we've got a lot of things for everyone who is in store for you guys. For everyone who is committed to the growth of the group, I'm super excited to have you guys. Before you log out, do me a favor. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but Owner Finance Your Way to Freedom has a page, and it's Owner Finance Deep Dive. Owner Finance Deep Dive. So if you guys have not liked it, please like Owner Finance Deep Dive. I'll go ahead and put it in the comments section. In addition to that, we've made a decision to keep the group private because a lot of times we're discussing private information. However, in order to share this video, what you guys need to do is go to the page, Owner Finance Deep Dive, and share it from there. You're not able to share it from the group. It would mean the world to me if you guys posted it on your personal pages, tag myself and tag Bhaskar and tag Sohail, which is the leadership team here in the group. Once we get tagged, then that's kind of the best way to really make the algorithm work. So anyways, we got a couple comments. Get his training now. Great stuff. Got to keep me up on your progress, homeboy. Let me know how that's coming along. We'll be there. Won't be late this time. Oh, Sammy was a little late last mastermind. Trey already working on a couple of deals using terms after watching it all this past week. Bro, do it. I want to see your growth. Let me know what you guys do. Let me know what the terms look like. And if you have any questions, post them in the group and I'll answer them personally. I went to StreamYard and they're showing me as a Facebook user. Oh, my buddy Ray Pantag. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I want to see your deals. I want to see your post. I want to see your questions. I want to see your offers in the group. And let's grow this. Super excited to have you guys. You guys have a great one. Take care.